Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Wellness Rock Show. I am so truly excited to be here with you guys this week because I am just coming back from my road trip. So there's a lot to talk about, but I want to do this in kind of like a two-part series. So in the first episode, I want to dive really into like why I wanted to go on my trip, discuss like the outline of my trip, what I kind of did, my favorite parts, my not so favorite parts, funny moments, like whatever it may be. And for the part 2 episode, I really want to dive into what I learned and what was revealed about myself and kind of what God showed me through this whole thing and all of that. So I want to do this through like a 2-part thing. So I hope you guys are rocking with me. We're going to dive into it. We're going to dive into the first episode today, and then we'll hit on next week's episode next week, and you guys can tune in. So how's everybody doing? First of all, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm feeling so good and so refreshed coming home from this trip. I just feel like a renewed energy. I feel like I'm very excited for what's coming. I feel like there's big breakthroughs, and I truly feel as if God's going to direct me in a new way. So the main reason I wanted to go on my trip was when you're a business owner, like sometimes you can get stuck in doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again. And I felt like I was in like the same routine for probably since I opened. Like, yeah, things have changed in my life and I've done new things and like we've changed stuff and all this stuff, but at the same time, like I'm still doing the same thing every single day. I'm waking up, I'm going to the shop, I'm going to work out, I'm doing the same thing every day, and you can get stuck in this routine, and then you can find yourself like not feeling as like creative or refreshed or new ideas coming to you. And I felt as if like I was getting to that point. And I had been wanting to do a solo trip for a while, but I knew that that was never really possible in my last relationship. So when I got out of that, I was like, I would really like to go on a solo trip. And so I finally got the opportunity to. I was like, let me do it. Like, I'm not getting any younger. I'm like, let's just do this thing. So when the idea presented it to myself, I was like, I would really love to go west. Like, I would love to do a road trip west, and I'm sure that I'll do that in the near future. But I wanted to do as much as possible within the shortest amount of time. So I was like, how about I go through Canada? I can hit some stuff I've never seen in Canada, and then I'll come down the East Coast and come back home. So, yeah, I really just wanted to go on my trip to kind of refresh and rejuvenate and get new ideas, become creative again. Like, there's so much to do, and I just want to make sure that I'm showing up as great as possible. And by doing that, I have to prioritize this type of stuff so that I can continue to bring new ideas to the table. I can continue to be and show up as the best person that I possibly can. So the outline of my trip was really, okay, so I started in Niagara Falls, and I went to Toronto, Montreal, Vermont, New Hampshire, Boston, Connecticut, New Jersey, and then I came home through Philadelphia and Ohio. So I hit a lot within, and that was from Monday to Saturday. So that's within like a 6-day period. So it was a lot of driving. Honestly, like I set it up pretty well to where I wasn't driving more than like 5 hours a day, which was perfect, honestly, because yesterday I had to drive 10 hours. And so therefore I was on the road for like 11 hours because of like all my stops and stuff like that. But all in all, it was an amazing trip. I absolutely loved it. I felt so renewed. There were so many moments where I just had like a lot of clarity click for me, and I feel as if I know where I'm going. I feel as if I'm more clear with where I'm going on my path and where God is calling me to be and what God is calling me to do. And I listened to a lot of sermons. I was able to listen to a lot of music. I didn't necessarily listen to a lot of business podcasts, which I wanted to, but every time I found myself wanting to listen to something, I found myself just putting on a sermon. So I listened to quite a few sermons and just really learned a lot. But that's not what we're going to jump into within this episode. We're going to talk about that in part 2. So make sure you tune in next week to listen to all the things that I learned, all of the realizations that I had, and how I'm going to implement what I learned and take it into my business and continue to grow and continue to evolve and continue to develop and just let God transform my life. But so I kind of just want to like talk about the fun stuff this week and dive more into that next week. But as for like my favorite parts, I absolutely love New Jersey. Like, I did not think that I would love New Jersey as much as I did, but I loved it. Like, I went to Cape May, New Jersey, which is kind of like wine country, kind of like more upscale type of vibe, and it was right on the Atlantic Ocean. I went to this winery, which was absolutely amazing. I met some amazing people, and then I spent like the rest of my day on the beach and had these delicious tacos, stayed at this beautiful Airbnb, and was able to watch the sunset the night before and the sunrise. So like everything was perfect that day. I think I want to kind of go backwards though, because I want to talk about how like what I enjoyed most about like each day, and then I'll talk about like my favorites and stuff like that. So day 1 was Niagara Falls, and Niagara Falls was beautiful. I could not have asked for a more perfect day, and like it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous, and so that was amazing. I wish I could have spent a little bit more time there. But I wanted to get to Toronto because I was seeing a couple things there, and then I had dinner reservations at Soto that night, which is apparently like Drake's restaurant, and a lot of famous people go there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. Like, how often am I really gonna be in Toronto? And we'll get to that later. But after Niagara Falls, I was able to go to Toronto, walked around there. It was very windy. Toronto reminded me a lot of Chicago, and I feel like that's why I didn't like Toronto as much as I wanted to like Toronto, because I'm not really a big fan of Chicago. So yeah, but it was still a good time. I'm grateful for every single part of my trip. So after Toronto, I actually drove like an hour outside of Toronto to get me a little bit closer to Montreal so that I could wake up and drive to Montreal in the morning. So that day was great. No complaints. Oh, wait. When I was going to Canada from the United States, my friend told me, he was like, don't bring pepper spray with you. Like, they're going to take it, blah, 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 blah. I didn't listen. I brought pepper spray with me, and she was so mean. Like, she was asking me all these nonsense questions, like literally full-blown interrogation. I was like, I'm just going on a road trip. Like, why are you? She was like, why are you by yourself? Why do you have so much stuff? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? And I was like, listen, I would have brought my bed with me if I could have. Like, I would have a full-blown bed in my car if I could have brought my bed. But I'm a girl. Like, you expect me to travel for 6 days in my car and not have everything but the kitchen sink and my bed? Like, no. I need everything. But So that was the only thing. I got stopped by customs. I had to get out of my car. They had to search my car. Had to sign my life away to this pepper spray, being like, yep, you can confiscate my pepper spray. It was ridiculous. I was like, all this for some pepper spray. I could have just not gotten the pepper spray and I would have been good to go. But they took my one form of protection. So anyways, Toronto was great. I wake up the next day, drive to Montreal. Oh, I loved Montreal. It reminded me so much of London. And, yeah, everything. So when I arrived, everything was in French. Everywhere I walked into, everybody was like, bonjour. And I was like, hi. So, all the signs were in a different language. Like, it was a really, really cool experience because even in London, like, not everything was in a different language because they speak English over there. So that, like, culture shock for a moment was, like, really intriguing. I was like, okay, we got this. But I had the most delicious coffee while I was there. Oh my gosh, this dulce de leche coffee was so good. And then really just enjoyed, like, a nice afternoon in, like, their central location, which is kind of like their downtown area. I was able to listen to this guy play some music, and then I ended up getting a tattoo. And I wanted to get a tattoo on this trip so bad because I got a tattoo on my last road trip. So, yeah, it was a great experience. I got a cross tattoo, which if you're watching the reel or the video, you can see. I need to do something with these bracelets because it keeps, like, cutting it off, but I love it. And then I also got a tattoo that says the journey is everything, and it's actually a Russ verse. I wanted to get the whole thing, but it was a little too long, so I was like, let me just get half. But it goes, ain't no destination, man, the journey is everything. And I wanted to get the whole thing because y'all know I love Russ. The journey really is everything. And so, but I only got half. But kind of to dive into a little bit about, like, the meaning behind the journey is everything is, like, there really is no destination. Like, our life, we can set a goal, and setting goals is great, but there's no, like, end goal. Like, when you accomplish that goal, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, my life is complete. I've accomplished everything that I want in this world. There's nothing left for me to do. I've done everything. No, you're going to keep wanting more. And that's why the journey really is everything, because you have to enjoy the journey. Life isn't always going to be cupcakes and butterflies. So if you're not enjoying the journey, and if you're not realizing that the journey is literally everything, it's not like you can't rush greatness. You can't rush your goals. You can't rush God's timing. You have to realize that this is all a part of God's timing. And if you want to receive God's perfect will for your life, like, it's gonna take time. So you might as well enjoy the journey while you're on it. Enjoy the pain, enjoy the suffering, enjoy the hard days, enjoy the good days, enjoy everything, because the journey is everything. The journey is in becoming who you're supposed to become. The journey is in becoming the woman you're supposed to be, becoming the man you're supposed to be, finding out what your path is, finding out what your career is, finding out what your purpose is. Like, there's so much to the journey, and it starts from when we are born to when we die. Like, the journey of life, it's the journey of life. The journey is literally everything. So don't get stuck. Don't get stuck wanting the next best thing, or trying to rush the journey, because if you're trying to rush it, that's not God's plan. Like, you just need to embrace God's plan to the fullest, realize that this is all a part of what I'm supposed to be doing, and run with that. Enjoy it. Enjoy every part of it. It's not going to be easy sometimes. It might actually really suck, but we can have faith and know that we can enjoy it and we can embrace it and we can grow through everything that we go through. So I don't know who needed to hear that today, but there's a reason I went off on that tangent. So where was I? I don't even know. Oh, Montreal. I love Montreal. Yes. So after Montreal, ended up driving like an hour, I believe, towards Vermont.